for arc of contact. Okay. Arc of contact is defined as the locus of any point on the pitch circle during the gear tooth action. Okay. We know that contact begins at point C, where addendum circle of driven gear intersects the pressure line, and as the engagement progresses, point C will travel along the pressure line towards point D, where addendum circle of driving gear intersects the pressure line. Okay. So while the point of contact is moving from C to D, point P1 on pitch circle will travel distance equals to P dash P double dash on the pitch circle of gear 1. This arc length is called as arc of contact. Okay. So P dash P double dash is the arc of contact. We have divided this arc of contact into two parts. First is arc of approach, that is distance from P dash to the pitch point P. And next is arc of recess, which is the distance from pitch point to the point P double dash. Okay. Now for determining the arc of approach, let us assume that TA is the time required to traverse the arc of approach P dash P. Means we will assume that point P dash will take time of TA to cover the distance P dash P. Okay, to cover the distance P dash P. Now, distance traveled by point P from P dash to P will be equals to tangential velocity of point P dash into the time required, because we know that velocity is equals to distance upon time. So distance equals to velocity into time. So velocity of P dash into the time taken by P dash to cover the distance P dash P will give the length of arc P dash P. Now P dash P is equals to, what is tangential velocity of P dash? It is the radius of rotation of P dash, means the radius of pitch circle, because point P dash is moving along the circumference of pitch circle. So its radius of rotation is the radius of pitch circle R. And its angular velocity will be velocity of gear 1, because point P is moving on the pitch circle of gear 1. So R into omega A will be its linear tangential velocity. Okay. While traveling along the circular arc, linear velocity of P dash will be R into omega A, where R is the pitch circle radius of gear 1 and omega A is the velocity of gear 1. Okay, now R omega A into TA. Next, what we have done, we have multiplied and divided the right hand side of this equation by cos of phi. We have done this purposefully to introduce the term RB. Okay, so we have this equation. We have multiplied and divided by cos of phi. What we get? R cos of phi is nothing but the base circle radius, which is equals to RB. Okay, we have seen this so many times. Here, from triangle AEP, from triangle AEP, which is right angle triangle at E, at E is 90 degrees. So cos of phi is adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, so cos of phi is equals to, which is the adjacent side? Base circle radius RB, that is distance AE divided by the hypotenuse, which is opposite to 90 degree. This is distance AP, which is equals to the pitch circle radius R. So we get RB equals to R cos of phi. Okay, so we have substituted RB for R cos of phi. So RB into omega A into TA upon cos of phi. Okay. Then next, what is RB into omega A? Again, going by the same equation or property of linear tangential velocity of a particle moving along a circular path, what we have? V equals to R into omega. Linear tangential velocity of a particle moving along a circular path is equals to radius of rotation into its angular velocity. So we have this term here now, Rb into omega A. Rb is the radius of base circle and omega A is the angular velocity of base circle 1. So it must be the linear tangential velocity of point H. Okay, it is the linear tangential velocity of point H. Because point H moves along the base circle over the circumference of base circle whose radius is Rb and whose velocity is omega A. At the instance when P1 is moving from P dash is moving from P dash to P. So this is linear tangential velocity of point H, Rb into omega A. So we have written this here. Now, what is this arc HK? Look at this. Tangential velocity of point H into the time of approach. So velocity into time must give the distance traveled by the point H, correct? Velocity into time must give the distance traveled by point H. So point H is moving along the circumference of base circle. So in time TA, while P dash moves from P dash to P, okay, I will show it. While point P dash moves from P dash to P, H will move from H to K in time TA. So velocity of point H into the time of approach will be the distance traveled by point H, which is nothing but the length of arc HK. Okay. Velocity of H into time will give the distance traveled by point H along the base circle. That is equals to arc HK. So I have written this here. So arc HK divided by cos of phi. Now we will split this arc HK into two parts. Okay. Look at here. Arc HK can be written as arc EK minus arc EH on the base circle. We will look at the base circle. Length of arc EK minus length of arc EH will be the length of arc HK. Okay, so I have written arc HK as arc EK minus arc EH divided by cos of phi. Now we have this equation. Now what is arc length EK and arc length EH? Now look at this diagram at the left bottom corner of the slide. Here it shows how the involute curve is generated. We have seen this before. When we unwound the taut string wrapped around the circumference of this base circle, any point on that string will move along the involute path. Okay. So here a taut cord is been unwound from the circumference of this base circle. Okay. By picking its endpoint. So its endpoint is tracing an involute curve. Now how much is this length? This length is equals to the length of this arc because we have unwrapped this much amount of cord. Okay. So this length of arc on the base circle is equals to this length. So this is the property of involute. So I have written what I have written? I have written EP for arc EK because going by the property of involute, we have length of arc EK is equals to distance EP, which is generating the involute number 2, which is passing through P. This is the property of involute. Okay. Similarly, arc EH is equals to length EC. Okay, arc EH is equals to length EC. Look at the diagram. So what I said, going by the property of involute, arc EH is equals to the linear distance EC on the pressure line. Okay, linear distance EC on the pressure line. So what is EP minus EC? Now look at the pressure line only. Okay, line of action EF. Now what is EP minus EC? EP minus EC is distance CP, correct? EP minus EC is distance CP. So I have written that. So P dash P is equals to CP upon cos of phi. What is CP? Call this as equation number 2. What is CP? CP is the path of approach, correct? So what we can say, path of recess, arc of approach is equals to path of approach divided by cos of phi. So write this as equation number 2. We have done this in last lecture. Okay, so all of you write this, arc of approach is equals to path of approach upon cos of phi, and you will remember this relation, arc of approach equals to path of approach upon cos of phi. So I think we have done this in the last lecture. I have revised it again. Now next step, now what we have done, we want to determine arc of contact P dash P double dash. We have determined P dash P, which is arc of approach. Now next we will go for arc of recess P double dash. Okay, we are determining now P double dash. So write down, let TR be the time required to traverse the arc of recess P double dash. Okay, we have done for P dash P. Now we will consider the arc of recess P double dash. So now point P is traveling along the pitch circle from P to P double dash, and let us suppose that time required for point P to cover this distance P double dash is TR. So write this. This will be your assignment number 7. Okay. TR is the time required for point P to move the distance P to P double dash. Now we'll go by the same analogy. So distance is equals to velocity into time. Correct. Distance P double dash is equals to the tangential velocity of point P while it is moving along the circular arc P double dash into the time required. Okay, here it is TR, time required for covering the arc of recess TR. So we'll write down this. Next, now what is tangential velocity of point P? It should be equals to R into omega. So radius of rotation of point P is radius of pitch circle 1, because point P is traveling on the circumference of pitch circle of gear 1. So its radius of rotation is R, correct? And it will move with angular velocity of gear 1, which is omega A. So I have written tangential velocity of point P when it moves along the circular arc P to P double dash is equals to R into omega A into the time required for covering the arc of recess, that is distance P double dash is TR. So write this. Now again what we will do, we will multiply and divide the right hand side of this equation by cos of phi. Multiply and divide the right hand side of this equation by cos of phi. multiply and divide the equation by cos of phi. Now we know why we are doing this. We have done this while determining the arc of approach. What is arc cos of phi? It is RB, base circle radius. Correct. So let us substitute RB for arc cos of phi. So arc length P double dash is equals to RB into omega A into TR upon cos of phi. So hope all of you have written this. Next, now what we have? Arc length P double dash is equals to RB into omega A into TR upon cos of phi. Now what is this? R into omega. It should be V, linear tangential velocity of some point, whose radius of rotation is RB and whose angular velocity is omega A. Which is that point? That will be point K, correct? So while the P moves from P to P double dash, point K will move from K to L in the same period of time TR. But the difference is only that radius of rotation of point P is the radius of pitch circle, that is R, and radius of rotation of point K will be the radius of base circle, that is RB. Okay, so RB is radius of rotation of point K and omega A is the angular velocity of point K. So RB into omega A is the linear tangential velocity of point K, correct? Linear tangential velocity of point K is this much. Okay, so write down this distance or arc length P double dash is equals to tangential velocity of point K into TR upon cos of phi. Now again, what we can do now, velocity of point K into the time will give the distance covered by point K in time TR, correct? Of course, velocity of point K into the time required will give the distance covered by point K in time TR. What is the distance? That distance is equals to arc length KL. Barabar. So point K is covering distance KL in time TR while P moves from P to P double dash. So write down this now. Velocity of point K into TR is nothing but arc KL. This is the distance traveled by point K in time TR. So divided by cos of phi. Now again, let us divide this distance or arc length KL into two parts. Okay. We will divide arc length KL into two parts. Okay. So arc KL can be divided as arc EL minus what I said, arc EL. You have to look along the base circle of gear 1. Arc EL minus arc EK will be the distance KL, correct? Arc length KL. So write this. Arc KL is nothing but arc EL minus arc EK. Now again, going by the property of involute, what is arc KL? Arc EL. This is arc EL, which is and this is the distance ED, which is generating the involute from point L above the base circle. So property of involute tells us that arc EL must be equals to the linear distance ED, and arc EK, look at the base circle of gear 1, arc EK. Now the involute at point K on the base circle, which is passing through point P, is generated by the straight line EP, which is rolling on this base circle. So property of involute tells us that linear distance EP is equals to arc length EK. So I have written this. What we have written? Arc EL is equals to linear distance ED, and arc EK is equals to linear distance EP. Okay? You have to write this, okay? Whole of the derivation. Now, what we have written just now, distance P double dash is equals to ED minus EP upon cos of phi. Now, what is ED minus EP? Look at the pressure line or line of action EF. ED minus EP. Okay? ED minus EP will give the distance PD. Okay? So write down this, arc length P double dash is equals to distance PD divided by cos of phi, because ED minus EP is distance PD, correct? ED minus EP is distance PD. Now what is PD? Let us call this as equation number 3. What is PD? PD is the path of recess. So what we have obtained, arc of recess P double dash is equals to path of recess divided by cos of phi. Okay, so all of you write down this, arc of recess is equals to path of recess divided by cos of phi. Okay. Arc of recess equals to path of recess divided by cos of phi. Okay, next. Now we have done for P dash P, which is the arc of approach, and we have also done for P double dash, which is arc of recess, given by equation number 3. Okay. Now we'll combine these two equations to get the arc of contact. So arc of contact P double dash becomes equals to P dash P plus P double dash. So Cp upon cos of phi plus Pd upon cos of phi. Got it? Arc of contact P dash P double dash is equals to Cp upon cos of phi plus Pd upon cos of phi, which is equals to, we have the same denominator, so Cp plus Pd, we can combine the numerator. And what is Cp plus Pd? What is Cp plus Pd? It is Cd, correct. So right, P dash P double dash is equals to Cd upon cos of phi. Okay, very good. Cd upon cos of phi. So call this as equation number 4. So we have equation number 4. What is that? Arc of contact P dash P double dash is equals to, we have arc of contact P dash P double dash is equals to path of contact CD upon cos of phi. This is the final equation for arc of contact. So remember this, arc of contact is equals to path of contact divided by cos of phi, means CD divided by cos of phi. So in order to determine the arc of contact, you must first of all find out the value of length of path of contact, that is distance CD on the pressure line, and you must know the value of pressure angle phi. So we will summarize the equations. First equation, arc of approach. okay, which was P dash P, which is equal to Cp upon cos of phi. So arc of approach is equals to path of approach upon cos of phi. Next, we have determined the arc of recess, which is equals to path of recess upon cos of phi. And finally, after combining this arc of approach and arc of recess, we get arc of contact, which is equals to path of approach plus path of recess. That is path of contact divided by cos of phi. So make sure that you have written all these three equations. Arc of approach is equals to path of approach upon cos of phi. It's very simple to remember. Okay, arc of recess equals to path of recess upon cos of phi, and arc of contact equals to path of contact upon cos of phi. Akash Ghadge, can you reply? लिलेगा. Very good. समझ लेना arc of contact. Sang, last sang. What is arc of contact is equals to? Very good. Okay. Now we'll proceed with the next term. So we have done with the arc of contact. If you have any questions, you can ask me. By the time I will open next PPT. Okay, no problems. Yusuf. Any doubt? Okay. So we'll proceed. Now this is what we have learned in the last 9 lectures. We have seen the definition of gear drive, classification of gears. We have studied the gear tooth terminology, and we have seen the law of gearing, and we have studied two conjugate profiles, cycloidal and involute. Next, we have gone through the involute gear tooth action, and we have derived the equations for path of contact and arc of contact. Correct. Arc of contact is equals to, we have just seen, path of contact divided by cos of phi. Correct. Cos of phi. And path of contact is equals to path of approach plus path of recess. And what is path of approach? Okay, I will not write this, it is not feasible here. R square minus R square cos square phi minus R sin of phi. Okay, plus R square minus R square cos square phi minus R sin of phi. Okay, now next is contact ratio. No need to draw this diagram again, just listen carefully and try to understand the concept of contact ratio. This is pitch circle 1, pitch circle of driving gear. Pitch circle of driven gear is in contact of pitch circle of driving gear tangentially. And that point of contact lies on the center line O1, O2, the line joining centers of both the gears. And the point where both the pitch circles meet each other is called as pitch point P. Correct? Then base circle 1 concentric to the pitch circle 1. Base circle 2 concentric to pitch circle 2. Then points of tangency E and F are joined by the common tangent to both the base circles. That is line EF, which is also called as the pressure line or line of action. Then this pressure line EF is perpendicular to the radius of rotation at the points of tangency. So EF is normal to O1E and O2F. O1E and O2F, correct? So EF is normal to O2F, radius of rotation at the point of tangency. Which are the points of tangencies? E and F. The pressure angle at O1 and angle at O2 are the pressure angle phi. Now, beginning of engagement. Engagement begins where the addendum circle of driven gear intersects the pressure line. Okay. What I have shown, the addendum circle of driven gear, that is gear 2, and this addendum circle is intersecting the pressure line at point C here. Okay, this is the addendum circle of gear 2, which is intersecting the pressure line EF at point C, where the engagement begins between a pair of teeth. Now, engagement ends where the addendum circle of driving gear intersects the pressure line. So this is the addendum circle of driving gear. This is the addendum circle of driving gear, which is intersecting the pressure line at point D. Correct? Where a pair of teeth ends the contact. So C is where the engagement begins and D is where the engagement ends. We have seen the CD is the path of contact. Now, while the path of contact between one pair of teeth moves from दिसत नाही का तू एक काम कर कोण आहे तो हायड्रा गेमिंग हा स्टॉप युअर स्क्रीन प्रेझेंटेशन रिप्लाय का नाही हो मग तो स्क्रीन शेअर केली ना त्यांनी एक काम करा मला पिन करा माझा फोटो दिसतोय ना तिथं पिन करा लेफ्ट साईडला माझा फोटो दिसतोय ना मोबाईलवर तिथं पिन करा दिसते का स्क्रीन दिसली का सगळ्यांना त्याला फोन करा कोणीतरी कॉल त्याला फोन करा हाउ कॅन आय रिमूव्ह हिम ओके आता आहे की विजिबल स्क्रीन ओके कंटिन्यू माझ्या नावावर पिन करा ना पीटी दिसत नाही ओके 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 अनिकेत राऊत स्टॉप शेअरिंग युअर स्क्रीन काय करतोय हा माणूस किती मोबाईलनी जॉईन झालाय तू अनिकेत राऊत हो, तर त्याला रिमूव्ह करत होतो मी. ओके, झालंय का? ओके ओके okay okay, we'll start. Okay then. Now when the path of contact or a pair of teeth moves from C to D, okay, consider one pair of teeth, it comes in contact at point C. So while a pair of teeth moves from C to D, how many number of other pairs of teeth are in contact with each other in this path? That is to be indicated by some means. For that we use contact ratio. Contact ratio indicates the average number of pairs of teeth in contact during gear tooth action. Okay. Contact ratio indicates average number of pairs of teeth in contact during gear tooth action. Okay. म्हणजे एक पेअर इथं कॉन्टॅक्टमध्ये आली सी ला आणि ती पेअर डी पर्यंत जाईपर्यंत हाऊ मेनी नंबर ऑफ टोटल नंबर ऑफ पेअर्स आर इन कॉन्टॅक्ट विथ इच अदर. Okay, that is the contact ratio. Now consider case 1. If the linear distance CD or arc length CD is equals to the base pitch. So consider case 1, linear distance CD is equals to the base pitch. Okay. Now if this is the case, if linear distance CD is equals to the base pitch, there will be exactly one pair of teeth in contact during the gear tooth action. Okay. हे काही लिहायचं नाही बरं का, डोंट राईट एनिथिंग, जस्ट ट्राय टू अंडरस्टँड. हे कुठं पुस्तकामध्ये दिलेलं नाही, आय एम जस्ट ट्राईंग टू एक्सप्लेन टू यू. We are going to only use the equation of contact ratio. Okay, so don't write this. So distance CD, if it is equals to the base pitch, what you can conclude that during gear tooth action from C to D, there is exactly one pair of teeth in contact. Okay. ओके, म्हणजे एक पेअर ऑफ टीथ सीला कॉन्टॅक्टमध्ये येणार आणि ती डीला कॉन्टॅक्टमधून बाहेर पडणार आणि ड्युरिंग दिस पिरियड ऑफ टाइम नो अदर पेअर ऑफ टीथ विल कम इन ॲक्शन. ओके, so there is exactly one pair of teeth in contact for this condition when linear distance CD is equals to the base pitch. Now what does this means? And so we have defined the circular pitch and base pitch in gear tooth terminology. The base pitch म्हणजे काय? Distance between two corresponding points on adjacent teeth. म्हणजे consider teeth number 1 and teeth number 2. So if I take a point on teeth number 1 on this left hand side profile, now the distance of this point from the same point on the adjacent tooth, okay, this distance is called as base pitch, and base pitch is measured along the base circle. Okay, as we measure the pitch, circular pitch along the pitch circle, we measure base pitch along the base circle. Okay, got it? The distance between two corresponding points on adjacent tooth measured along the base circle is base pitch. Now what is the first case? Base pitch is equals to the distance CD, आपलं हे distance where the contact initiates, point C, and where the contact ends, point D. This distance is equals to base pitch. म्हणजे काय? C ला a pair of teeth will come in contact at point C, and at the same time a pair formed by this teeth number 2 will leave the contact at point D. बरोबर? Means while the adjacent pair is entering the contact, the previous pair of teeth is leaving the contact at point D, and with further rotation of the gears there will be only one pair of teeth in contact from C to D. कळलं? म्हणजे परत टीथ नंबर 1 ची पेअर डी ला येईपर्यंत गियर टीथ बी विल बी इन ॲक्शन ॲट पॉइंट सी. ओके, So this is how there is only one pair of teeth in contact while when the distance CD is equals to the base pitch. Now case 2, if the distance CD is greater than the base pitch, what happens? If this is the case, during the gear tooth action from C to D, while a pair of teeth moves from C to D, for a while there will be two pairs of teeth in contact. Now let us try to understand this. Now look at this. This is the base pitch, distance between two corresponding points and the adjacent teeth. Now distance CD is greater than base pitch. Now distance CD is greater than base pitch. कळलं? म्हणजे आता बघा, if gear number 1, let us call this as gear number 1 and this as gear number 2, and gear is rotating like this in clockwise direction. So what is happening here during gear tooth action? Teeth number 2 is coming in contact at point C. Teeth number 2 is entering contact at point C. But the previous teeth, that is teeth number 1, which is ahead of teeth number 2, has not yet reached the point D. So it is also in action. So there are two pairs of teeth. एक या टीथनी फॉर्म केलेली पेयर आणि एक टीथ नंबर 1 नी. So for a while there are two pairs of teeth in contact with each other. Correct? Gear number 2 is entering the contact at point C, but gear number 1 has not yet reached at point D. Means there are two pairs of teeth in contact for a while, for some period of time. So because of this nature of gear tooth action, we have to define the average number of pairs of teeth in contact during the gear tooth action, and this is given by contact ratio. Now you can write this equation. Contact ratio is equals to CD upon base pitch. Contact ratio is equals to, all of you write down this equation. Contact ratio is equals to CD upon base pitch. CD is our path of contact. That is, contact ratio is equals to CD upon PC cos of phi, because we have the base pitch related to the circular pitch by cos of phi, where phi is the pressure angle. Okay. So base pitch is equals to cos of phi times the circular pitch. आपण असं लिहितो ना, what we write? Base circle radius is always cos of phi times the pitch circle radius. Going by the similar terms or analogy, we have base pitch equals to cos of phi times the circular pitch. So I have substituted PC into cos of phi for PB. Then what we get? Contact ratio is equals to CD upon PC cos of phi. What is this? What is this? CD upon cos of phi. It is the arc of contact. We have just derived this relation. Arc of contact is equals to path of contact CD upon cos of phi. Okay. So what we have, final equation for contact ratio? You can write this. Contact ratio is equals to arc of contact upon circular pitch. Okay. Arc of contact upon circular pitch, PC. So what should be the value of arc of contact ratio? Contact ratio must be always greater than 1. Can someone tell me the reason? Contact ratio should be always greater than 1. Why? Contact ratio म्हणजे काय? Read the definition. Average number of pairs of teeth in contact during gear tooth action. And this must be always greater than 1. म्हणजे for continuous power transmission, there must be at least one pair of teeth in contact with each other. नाहीतर मोशन ट्रान्सफर होणार नाही. करेक्ट. To transmit the motion or to rotate the gears, at least one teeth must be in contact with the mating teeth. Then only the power will be transmitted. Okay. So remember, this contact ratio should be always greater than 1, and its value is determined as arc of contact divided by circular pitch. This is the conclusion. For continuous transmission of motion, there should be at least one pair of teeth in contact with each other. Now, if I said contact ratio for a pair of teeth is pair of gear is 1.6, what does this mean? This does not mean that there are 1.6 number of pairs of teeth in contact with each other. We will count the pairs as a whole number always, correct? एक पेयर, दोन पेयर, तीन पेयर, चार पेयर, 1.6 पेयर्स असतात का? No. So what does this mean? If I say that contact ratio is 1.6, this means that one pair is always in contact during the gear tooth action. Okay, one pair is always be in contact, and two pairs are in contact for 60% of the time. 60% of the time. म्हणजे time required to cover this distance from C to D. Time required to cover the distance C to D, or time of path of contact. So for 100% of time, there will be one pair of teeth always in contact, and for 60% of time, there will be two pairs of teeth in contact with each other. This is the meaning of 1.6. So accordingly, you will interpret the value of contact ratio. So I have done for today.